Good afternoon, Carolina Forest. We are coming at you with What's Up with Michael and Tom. What's up with Michael and Tom? So what's up with y'all? Y'all tell us what's up. We're going to tell you what's up. Y'all tell us what's up.
That's right.
Today we are just going to have some conversation about worship and maybe other topics too. Who knows? Who knows what may come up during this talk today?
Yeah, it might not be just worship.
Yeah.
We were directed to speak on worship, but
we're not going to now.
We will a little bit. But we'll be asking each other questions, and there were questions that were submitted to us that we want to answer too, because we don't want to just talk about things you guys don't want to hear. So
Right.
You know, that's what we're gonna do. And Justin's behind the camera. Give it up for Justin.
Give it up for Justin. Come on.
And he's gonna tell us the questions that come through. So if anyone's watching right now, submit some questions. Worship, not worship, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
And we'll try our best to answer them the best we can, or not. We might just skip it. Who knows?
Yeah.
So.
This might not answer it.
Anything's possible. Everything's up in the air. Who knows what may happen today? Okay, we're just going to, we got a couple questions prepared. So we're going to answer the questions. Y'all can toss some answers in the comments if you want to answer these questions also.
That's pretty cool.
And then if any questions come to mind, share
Interaction,
those
man.
as well. So,
Wow.
All right, first question. This comes from Carolyn. Or did you want to ask this one?
You didn't have to say it came from Carolyn. It was just a question.
Well,
Now you threw her under the bus. What if she didn't want us to tell her?
maybe she didn't want us to know. Sorry, Carolyn.
Oh, you
want
can
to
ask it.
I'm gonna ask
I didn't write hers down. You got it.
This is going well.
You got it.
All right, first question comes from Carolyn. Who inspires you most as a worship leader?
Oh,
Ooh, that one, yeah. You were like, oh, I did want to ask that one.
I did want to ask that question. I'm going to throw this one back on Michael, especially because I really want to know. Actually, since you asked me first, I don't consider just a specific worship leader. Besides you, Michael, you have inspired me as a worship leader, and don't cry, man, but that's some truth there.
I've never inspired anybody before.
Yeah, well, guess what? This guy right here next to you. There are specific like worship bands I started listening to, and like when I started going back to church, and Hillsong was one of them. This lyrically, gosh, like they'll destroy you with their metaphors. Hillsong was a big one for me, and Bethel Church, I kind of grew on me for a couple of years after, my relationship with Jesus. So, Michael, who inspires you as a worship leader?
Yeah, well, similarly, when I started leading worship about 15 years ago now.
15 years ago?
It was really Hillsong worship that kind of really inspired me a lot. And specifically Joel Houston, one of the main writers and leaders for Hillsong United now. Just his poise. That's right, yeah. I don't use that word very often.
That's a good word.
Anytime I've seen him or heard him speak, it's just really inspiring. It seems he seems to me like the kind of worship leader who is just deep in the Word on a consistent basis. That's what it seems to me. And the songs they write are musically moving and lyrically
truth.
They're deep to me. So, he's probably one of the ones that inspire me the most. That and Jeremy Riddle, who I've discovered. He's not at Bethel now, but he was at Bethel before, and was just always really inspired by him and his heart, the way he leads. So, shout out to you, Joel and Jeremy,
for watching.
Y'all know, if y'all are watching right now.
Yo, Michael, what? I think some people want to know this, but when did you find out? Like, I know how to sing, or even better, when you answer that, like, when did you start leading worship? I think you answered this a couple months ago, but just like a quick summary.
Yeah, well, both of those were about the same time frame from each other. I kind of just got tossed into leading worship. I didn't really pursue it or anything like that. And around that same period of time, I had no idea if I really could sing or not. I think like most people, I would sing in the shower, in the car, and I like to sing, but I had no idea if I really could sing. And I think I just kind of figured that out or learned over the years, while leading worship.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was this the first place you were leading worship, at Carolina Forest?
Nope. I led at a church, South Strand Assembly of God, Merle's Inlet down there.
Still there?
Way down yonder. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Shout out to my man John Hayes.
Hey, it's good seeing you, John.
One of the pastors there. Good church.
Wow.
Yep.
Cool, man.
Okay. Let's see. What about you? When did you learn?
This is a good question.
When you could sing.
Good question. Oh, to sing? I'm still trying to figure that out. Do I know how to sing yet?
You do all right.
I led worship at my church. Oh, no, I didn't lead worship. I'm sorry. I played guitar with it basically muted at my church in New York for a couple years, and I got asked to sing a total of like 3 songs in a matter of 15 years that I was there. And I was just very timid. I liked singing, but I didn't like to do it like around people. And then I stopped. And then there was like a period of time where I just didn't go to church. And that time I was doing a lot of coffee shop stuff with my friend. And
yeah, I did that sometimes too.
Yeah, it was cool. It was John Mayer and stuff. But
yep.
But then when I came back to Myrtle Beach, that's when I met you, and I went to Carolina Forest Community Church with my sister, and she's like, "Hey, Thomas, like, you're singing once in a while. Why don't you go talk to Michael?" And I'm like, "Nah, he's way too good. That whole band's really good. I ain't going up there."
Yep.
And bam, I walked up there, and I was like, "Hey, like, I can play guitar, just acoustic, and some background vocals." And you're like, "All
and
right."
I was like, "Can you play John Mayer? Can you play Hillsong?"
And then I played David Crowder the first time together, you and I. But like a month into it, you're like, I need you on electric. I was like, I did say I only play acoustic, and then bam, I'm on electric, and I was up there singing. I forgot what song it was. One of the first songs. I don't remember which one it was. Anyway, it was. So I'm still figuring out if I could.
It's How He Loves. That's everybody's first song that they sing.
That's so true. That's the one I tried out with. I was like, sing How He Loves and Stop This Train by John Mayer. And I was on the team. So
just like that on the team.
Hey, you know what Michael means? Justin, do you know what Michael means?
Like
your name, Michael, means who is like God. The question. It's not saying question. Michael's like God, but
it's asking the question.
Yeah. That's just part of
the rhetorical question, because we all know.
Yeah.
That's right. It's asking. My name is a rhetorical question.
Wow.
My name means nobody.
Michael's name means nobody.
My name means nobody, because nobody is like God.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Also, Michael the Archangel. That's me. So, nice to meet you.
Melody asked, what's the most embarrassing moment that's ever happened to you on stage?
Oh my gosh, good question. Okay, so Melody asked, what is the most embarrassing moment that's happened to you on stage? Great question, Melody. Gosh. Wow. You go first, because I know which one you're thinking. I'm trying to think.
I got 2. So, no. Oh yeah, I kind of got 2. My first one, I was leading worship, and I now I know it was like April 20th, 2017, because Natalie just brought it back up. And it was Natalie, Christina Lambert, and myself. We were leading vocally, and we were singing
You Are Good or something like that?
Yeah. You are good. In the hand, my heart will remain. And we got it. And the camera, the worst part was the camera shots on us. But so we wear these in-ears, which hears the click track, and we could hear each other, because when you're standing behind the speakers, you don't really hear yourself well. So we have our in-ear monitors that help us hear everything. Well, we heard something in our in-ears of someone else singing or saying something, and it sounded like Natalie, but Natalie wasn't singing whatever was happening in my ears. We found out later on it wasn't in our ears, it was in the room, and somehow in the middle of the song, there was a recording of Natalie singing first by Lauren Daigle, and it was blasting through the church, and like I don't know what to do, so we were like, with a cry of praise, my heart will break. And I'm looking around like thank God Michael was playing keys for the first time.
I was playing keys this Sunday, which almost never happens.
Yeah,
I'm terrible at keys.
And it was like, it felt like an hour. We couldn't figure it out, but
it
was only like
a very slow train wreck that was happening that Sunday. Yeah, I think it's the best worship fail moment.
Yeah,
one of the best ones ever. It was just
it was
a very slow train wreck that progressively was like, it started out, what's that noise? And it's like.
It just got louder and louder.
It just kept getting louder.
So then then Natalie, she's so good, she played it off as like worshiping with her own song, and that she was singing a different. Anyway, but that was cool. And then another one that wasn't cool. Another one was Mark, Pastor Mark. He left his microphone on after he spoke. And
take note, both of these instances were when Tom was leading and I was either off or doing something else.
That's why I get anxiety before every Sunday. If Michael's down here, I'm like, what's going to happen today?
Anytime Tom leads when I'm not there, we're like, what's it going to be? What's it going to happen this time?
What is your embarrassment? Because I really like to know this.
I honestly, I can't think.
You didn't have one?
I don't think I've had nothing that compares to that. No. I've had a couple hiccups of voice cracking here and there.
Wow, guys, just the perfect worship. I
think I shoved those memories very
so
far
away. Down
that they are almost to the zone of being completely forgotten.
We gotta go take those memories back up and see.
Gotta really try to find them. Wow. Okay, sorry. That might take a minute.
That was a great question, though.
That was a really good question. Thank you very much, Melody. All right.
Wow.
Moving forward.
I just got a bit of like nerves from talking about that story. I ain't leading this Sunday. I'm not playing.
You're leading this Sunday, too.
No.
Everyone brace yourselves this Sunday. Nobody knows what may happen. All right. Here comes a question from Haley. What is your favorite part about working here?
Wow, it's a good question.
That's a great question.
It's
my favorite part is getting to do what I love every day.
Why do you gotta say it like that, man?
That's no, but seriously, that's cool. I get to do what I love. I enjoy the people I work with. I have a really great boss. Fantastic boss. Couldn't ask for
He's hoping he watches it.
Okay. No, but for real though, I mean all of that.
Yeah.
I say it like I'm joking, but I'm serious.
Yeah. I got a follow-up question after that, but it has to do with this. But like, I never thought I would work in a church, and it's from where I was from too. Like, there wasn't such a thing as being on staff at a church. So when I tell people, my friends in New York, like, hey, like I work at a church, they're like, all right, so what do you do for a job? I'm like, oh, I work at a church. They're like, what do you do? I don't know how else to say it.
They're like, are you the guy that sits in the confessional?
That's it.
Is that what it's called? The confessional?
Yeah, that was not me. But I love this job. It's I've been in different positions at the church. I started as an intern for worship under Michael, and I enjoyed that so much. And what I said was, in ministry, I would never go into sports ministry, or at some point I said I will never get into student ministry. And I went from going into sports ministry. I went from half-time sports ministry, half-time student ministry. And it was incredible. I learned so much. And again, like Michael said, it's a great staff. It's just a staff that you can rely on, you can, you pray with each other, before meetings. You are vulnerable. We get to open up in front of each other as much as we can. But, it's almost like we're working together in worship ministry, student ministry, sports ministry, tech ministry. I mean, everything kind of comes together as one, and for one. That's the coolest thing, is for one purpose, is to glorify God. So worship ministry is so small in comparison to what the goal of being on staff at a church is. Student ministry is such a small part of, the goal of what we're supposed to be doing, and all that kind of flows together, funnels together into the glorification of God. So I'd love being part of that as a full-time job, like doing that, So that's that. I love that.
Wow, that's a good answer.
I don't remember the follow-up question I had for you, though.
Wow.
I don't remember that.
All right, well, wow, look at, we're about 15 minutes in so far.
Yeah, Justin said at least 9, so.
All right, well, let's do a couple more questions.
Wow.
All right, let's get a little deep and spiritual here.
Okay.
What do you think it means, or what does it mean, to worship in spirit and in truth? When Jesus says that the Father is looking for those worshipers.
Wow. Well, we had this conversation before about how, we are all designed to worship. We're all designed to worship something. And I think there's genuine worship everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you would say, like, people are genuine, but there's also worship that's acceptable to God and not acceptable to God. And the only acceptable worship to God is in spirit and in truth. I love what you said before, if you could say it.
Oh, you want me to say it again?
with the without spirit and this is what it looks like, and without truth, so they have to go hand in hand.
Right, yeah. Well, I looked up the definition of spirit just to make sure we're clear, like, because you have to define when he says worship in spirit and in truth. Now, I'm not a pastor, so Rick or Tyler, they might yell at me after
You're a pastor.
After I answer this, but
Come on.
But so spirit is essentially where our emotions are at, where our being is, our soul. It's the core of who we are. Our spirit.
Your whole heart.
Our self is our spirit. We're spiritual beings. And truth. Well, Jesus says, "I am the truth. I am the way. I am the life." We know that. So I believe when you combine those two, when you worship in spirit and in truth, you worship with your entire being, including your emotions, your feelings, and who you are as a person, and you combine that with truth, which is God's word. The word is Jesus. And so you combine basically the head and the heart. You combine the knowledge, the truth of who Jesus is, and the truth of the word, combined with your emotions, your feelings, your being, and yourself, spirit and in truth. Because when you have them separately, if you have worshiping in truth, then you have knowledge, but you try to take away your emotions and your feelings and your being from, and try to separate that, then it can kind of be dry and stagnant. Or if you have the other side of worshiping in spirit without truth, well, then you have a bunch of emotionalism and being hyper, and you have this heightened experience
that'll wear off quick.
That you're only worshiping when you feel good, kind of thing. And so when you combine the two together, you're worshiping wholeheartedly. I like to think of it as like when the greatest commandment: love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. So heart, soul, mind, your thoughts, strength, so physical action, your being. So that's kind of my answer for that.
I can relate to, for a while, worshiping in spirit and not knowing who God was. Like, if we don't know who God is, then how can we worship? Right, and that knowledge and that truth. So, that's why, like, the importance of worship as we read his word, as we're in prayer. I mean, you're not going to grow closer to God if you're not trying to build this relationship with him. And so the more that we get to know God, the more that we understand his word, the more knowledge we have, the more truth. I mean, our worship is just going to keep growing and growing. And, I think it's just so important.
The more we dive into the word, the more we're drawn to worship him.
Yeah,
because the more humbled we become, and the more in love we become.
Yeah. It's really...
All right. Let's see.
I like that.
What do you think? One more question?
I already said what your name means, right?
What does Michael mean?
Do you guys know again?
What does Thomas mean? Did you look up your name meaning?
Actually, I didn't.
Wow.
Doubting Thomas.
Somebody look it up. Somebody Google it right now.
Hey guys, Thomas. Look up my name, Thomas, and what it means, and it has to be as spiritual as Michael's. Well, his means nothing. So,
okay, so I guess maybe we'll finish with...
finish with this. I got it for you. I got this one.
Oh, you do? All right.
What is like one encouragement? What is one thing you would say to encourage the church as a worship director, new and people who've been here for a while? Like,
yeah.
What is one way you can encourage them in worship or out of worship?
I think I would encourage people with probably the same encouragement I would guess the pastors would say, and that would be we have to be in the Word and in prayer throughout our week, every day. We need it every day. And I do believe that doing that, being in the Word and being in prayer, will lead us to be worshiping every day. Because, and I do believe our church knows this, but Sunday cannot be the only day of the week that we are in the Word, the only day of the week that we're in fellowship, or the only day of the week that we engage in some sort of activity of worship, whether that's singing or dancing or jumping or whatever. But we have to be doing those things, and I would encourage everyone to. I would implore everyone to be doing those things daily throughout the week, to be singing, to be worshiping, to be reading the Word, and to be praying, because without doing those things, then what are we doing?
Oh, that's nice.
So,
well,
all right. Well, I guess that's all for today.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up with that thought of the day. Thanks everybody for joining us. We hope you all have a good week, good weekend, and we'll see you all on Sunday.
bye guys.